Alright, I think it's been long enough to where the dust has settled to a point where now everybody really isn't saying much on this situation, and I think because of that now is the best time to come out with this video with my thoughts on it. So let me start this off non-biased by saying that I think the arguments around Moze's Iron Bear buffs and the whole thing with ties that bind and the war between Amara mains and Moze mains is fucking stupid. For those of you unaware of what happened, a few weeks ago when DLC 3 dropped, Gearbox also dropped a patch with the release, and in this patch they buffed Moze's Iron Bear and upped the damage and basically made Moze fun again. And while there were the majority of people who were happy with this buff, including myself, there were also people like myself who thought that Moze's Iron Bear got a little bit too much of a buff and that she got too much of a damage increase. Now, I'm not here to debate whether or not Moze is too strong or too weak. I really couldn't care less. I just want to play the game and have fun. That's what Borderlands has always been about for me. But I do also realize that there is a serious problem with Moze's Iron Bear, and that just goes to show because of how many people are talking about this. I don't care what side of the fence you're on, you are in clear denial if you sit there and tell me that there is not an issue with Moze's Iron Bear when literally the whole community is split on whether they like the buffs or do not like the buffs. Now let me just say that I do not want to get into a turf war with Moze mains because quite frankly Moze mains are some of the most vicious being next to Redditors in the sense that they are like a dog with a fucking bone. Whenever you talk about their character, they do not like it, they will dox you, they will find where you live and hurt you. But I will say that I do personally think that Moze is a little too easy to play now. I feel like Moze is a little like Amara was during the Malawan takedown, where everyone now wants to pick her up because using Moze's Iron Bear is the equivalent to dropping a fucking nuclear bomb on civilization. And even though this is a ton of fun, I also think that this isn't entirely a good thing because now Moze is starting to turn into Amara in the sense that anyone can hop onto her and just fucking annihilate the majority of content in the game. Lazy Data has already soloed a takedown with Auto Bear, so basically AFKing with just the Iron Bear. I know my friend B Flattened has already ran the game gearless with only Moze and I mean had no problem doing that. But I do think that adjustments need to be made to Moze in the future. Now, do I think that the damage that Moze's Iron Bear does right now should be changed? No. Should it be adjusted? 100%. I don't think that you should be able to pick up this character and solo every piece of content in the game just with the action skill. That doesn't seem fun to me. I feel like the whole idea of Borderlands was working your way up the ladder, and when you're finally at that level of how just being so insanely OP, then you can go and do that kind of damage. But I do feel like right now in the game you do not need any of the endgame gear, you do not need any of these cool crazy builds to just go in there and absolutely wreck the invincibles of this game. Now I don't care what you say, if I had taken Gage in Borderlands 2 and soloed a raid boss just by standing there, everyone would flip their shit and say holy fuck, this guy is like the Grim Reaper reincarnated. And don't get me wrong, I'm sure there's also going to be a bunch of Moze mains now on this video trying to find a video of that happening just so they can make me look like a fucking idiot, but quite frankly that's what I come to expect from this community nowadays. You see, the real reason I'm making this video is because the amount of deplorable shit I've seen regarding this debate is absolutely horrendous. Now I'm not going to show any screenshots because quite frankly I don't think giving bottom of the barrel scumbags any attention is a good thing, but just at first hand I've seen people insult other players and call them stupid and call them a waste of a player and blah 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 just because they want to play Moze now. I think that is damn right fucking idiotic. To call someone stupid and to call someone a bad player just because they like to play a character they have fun with is the most stupid shit I've ever heard in my life. And the same goes for Moze mains as well. Don't think you guys are off the hook. If you are one of them people saying that you're an idiot if you think that Moze is overpowered or that you're a bad player if you play Amara or Zane, then you too are a fucking idiot. People will always play a character they enjoy, whether it's hard to play or easy to play, and the argument of you're a bad player because you play an easy character is the stupidest shit ever. There are various pro players in Rainbow Six Siege, in Overwatch, in CSGO who use some of the most easiest characters or easiest guns or easiest strategies and are still some of the best players in that community. I also find it absolutely ridiculous that these people calling out Moze mains for having an easy time are the same people that are AFKing bosses with Zane's clone, or the same people that are going around one-shotting things with ties that bind. It honestly feels like for the most part, people are more so just offended that now Moze is on the same level as their main, and they are highly threatened by that. So no, I don't think insulting someone over what they enjoy is a funny thing to do, especially in Borderlands, a game about having fun. And I also don't think it's a good idea to insult Gearbox when they've not even touched Moze yet. I mean, seriously, when people realized that another patch was coming after the initial buff to Moze, everybody instantly started raining insults down at Gearbox. Oh, these fucking normie chads better not start touching my Moze. And of course Gearbox didn't, and they responded in a way which in my opinion was a very smart response. They said that they're not going to overreact right now, and they're going to continue to monitor people's feedback in the coming weeks. And I think that's a good move. The last thing we need right now is Gearbox overreacting and buffing her even more just to comply with Moze mains, or nerfing her to comply with people who are against it and then pissing off the Moze mains. But one thing's for sure, and that is that no matter what they do from this point on, they're going to piss someone off, and somebody is going to get butthurt, and someone's going to drop death threats, and someone's going to insult Gearbox, and you're a lowlife if you do that sort of stuff. Now again, I'm not here to make this video a huge debate on whether or not Moze should be nerfed. I just wanted to voice my opinion on the people who are severely overreacting at this situation. Is Moze extremely easy to pick up and play now? Yes. Do I think that's fun? No. Do other people? Yes. And for that reason, we will leave it in the fate and hands of Gearbox. And going back to the piece of meat thing with the Moze mains, I do not think it's a good idea to attack Gearbox no matter what they do from this point moving forward. I think the majority of people are just scared that Moze is going to be nerfed back into the ground, and do not worry, because I do not think that's going to happen one bit. Gearbox are 1000% already aware of how bad Moze was before these buffs, and no matter what change they make to her going forward, I'm sure they are not going to return her to that state. But another big argument from the Moze main side of things is that Amara has been untouched since launch, and I mean, quite frankly, I can't argue with that. They're completely right. Amara has been the walking Shrek of this swamp that we call BL3, and this has now only been worsened by the fact that with Slayer and ties that bind, Amara can pretty much one-shot literally anything in the game, and yeah, it's pretty silly, and there's not much more to say about it. You know, I'm not going to sit here and defend it. Personally though, like I said, I don't play Moze, I don't play Amara, I play Zane, so I just enjoy what I have, and I use Seeing Dead as a crutch like every other Zane main, but it's still fun to sit here and just look at the community go up in flames and just make fun of it. I've trolled about this numerous times on Twitter and just watched and laughed as people get extremely angry over the situation, and this just goes back to the whole insulting people thing. I've had people insulting me and just throwing shots at me just because I'm trolling about the whole situation and laughing at the fact that this is basically turned into a World War III in the community. But all in all, I do think Gearbox will do the right thing going forward, and I don't think that now is time to call to arms. I don't want to see this community burn itself to the ground just because a character got a buff. I think that we're so used to nerfs that the moment things get buffed, we think it's unusual. So I think going forward, the more buffs we get, the more we get used to a new style of playing BL3, the more people will wean off of the train of, hey, this is too powerful. Because like I've already said, we are so used to things being not powerful that when something is made powerful, we sit there and look at it as an unusual change. So Chads and Chadettes, if we could all just sit back, relax, take a deep breath, drink some G Fuel, and just relax, because all in all, I just don't think this is a situation worth overreacting to. Moze mains, enjoy using Iron Bear to squash and plow your way through game, even if that means standing there AFK while you stuff your face with Cheetos and let your Iron Bear ruin a takedown. And Amara mains, if you want to sit there and one-shot everything in the game with ties that bind, please do that. But overall, we should not resort to insulting each other and saying just so much just harmful and hateful shit to each other. It's just really not worth it, and we don't need that kind of negativity in the community. But that's about all the ranting that I have to do for this video, so I do hope you guys enjoyed it. Thank you for your support as always. Be kind to one another, and on that note, yeah, have a nice day.